Hey y'all, welcome back to Home Baked TV. Today we're gonna make chocolate chip cookies, so let's get started. All right, everybody. First, we're gonna add 1 cup of cold butter cubed into the bowl of our stand mixer. So that is So first we're gonna add 1 cup of our cold butter, which is cubed, into the bowl of our stand mixer. And then we're going to add our sugars, and it's 1.5 cups of brown sugar and a 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar. And we're going to mix that until light and fluffy. It's roughly 2 to 3 minutes. So we're gonna mix this for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, now that our butter and sugar are creamed together very nicely, what we're gonna do is add our eggs and our vanilla. So we have 2 eggs that I've already pre-cracked. I'm gonna add those to the bowl. And then you wanna add approximately 2 teaspoons of the vanilla extract of your choice. And then you are going to mix that until well combined. So while your dough is mixing, you may want to stop it every so often just to make sure that you're scraping the sides of your bowl and getting any ingredients that might be stuck to the bottom. Okay, once your egg and vanilla are well combined, you're gonna go about adding your dry ingredients. The dry ingredients for this cookie are 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of cake flour, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of baking soda. So I already have all my ingredients pre-measured here. So I am just going to add them to my bowl. And then we are going to mix, and what you're gonna do is you just wanna mix this until the flour is no longer visible. All right, now that our dough is finished, we're gonna add 2 cups of chocolate chips. I'm just using semi-sweet, but you can use whatever the chocolate chip of your choice is. And then you're just going to fold that in until well combined. You may have to use your strong arms here. So as you can see, I got roughly 21 2.5 ounce cookies out of this particular batch. They're all rolled, and I'm gonna chill them. I'm gonna put some saran wrap over this pan, chill them in the refrigerator, or you can do the freezer for roughly 30 minutes, and then we will get to baking. All right, it's been roughly 30 minutes. I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and then I'm going to start placing these cookies onto a baking sheet. So I'll take this one out of the way. I have my baking sheet lined with a baking mat, and I am going to put roughly, you want to space your cookies out because they are going to spread a little bit. So I'm gonna do roughly 4-5 cookies on the baking sheet. okay? And you're gonna put these in the oven, like I said, for 13 minutes. All right, it has been roughly 13 minutes. I have taken the cookies out of the oven, and I have given them a little round shape by just using a coffee cup and just swirling it around the cookie while it is still hot, and it'll give it a more circular shape. You can do that in lieu of like the cookie rings that people are utilizing nowadays, or you can just leave them as is. But this is our finished product. I'm going to continue to bake the rest of the cookies, and then at the end, I'll show you all the cookies together. All right, thank you. Oh, I wanted to mention that you're gonna leave these on the rack for a few minutes, and then you're gonna move them over to a cooling rack to cool for the rest of the time. Remember that your cookie sheet is still hot, so the cookies are technically still cooking. So you don't wanna leave them on here too long, just a few minutes, and then you're gonna transfer them over to a baking sheet. All right. So our cookies have finished. I've plated a few of them on this heart plate, but here are our big chocolate chip cookies. Like I stated before, this recipe yielded about 21 2.5 ounce cookies. You can make them bigger or smaller based upon your preference. But here is a big chocolate chip cookie. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Bye.